I just found out Storm exists in Premodern. You know what that means. Hello and welcome back, and today I am excited to play Storm in Premodern. If you've stuck around the channel, you know my paper deck in Legacy is Black Saga Storm, and I absolutely love the archetype. It's a little bit of a rough point in Legacy for Storm, so let's see how it does in Premodern. This deck is kind of insane, even from a Storm player's perspective, because the math in my head is so used to killing with Tendrils of Agony. But this deck is looking to mill your opponent out with Brain Freeze. So the math is going to be very different for this Storm deck than Storm in Legacy. So the way that this deck is working is we are a blue-black deck looking to be able to cast a ton of spells to generate a ton of mana and our Storm count. And the way that we do that is rituals and ill-gotten gains. If you haven't seen this card like I didn't before this video, basically you discard your hand and get 3 cards back from the graveyard. So what the plan is to be able to get multiple ill-gotten gains either in your hand to discard to the first one or dumped into your graveyard via intuition, so that you basically just keep looping rituals and ill-gotten gains to amass a ton of mana and a ton of storm to eventually go find your Brain Freeze and mill your opponent out. We also can do a mini Brain Freeze, then play ill-gotten gains to get some rituals and Brain Freeze back, to mill them out via like 2 or 3 mini Brain Freezes as well. To make this deck work, we are churning through our cards with Mental Note, Opt, Sleight of Hand, tutoring specific cards out with Merchant Scroll and Intuition, and we have a Wish board that we get access to our sideboard in Game 1 via Cunning Wish to find the pieces that we need or to find some interaction. Backing all of this up, you have a ton of fast mana in the form of Lotus Petals, Lion's Eye Diamonds, Dark Rituals, and Cabal Rituals, and a pretty low mana base because you want a critical mass of spells to be able to hit the storm count you need to mill your opponent out. In the sideboard, because we have the Cunning Wish plan, we do have a backup plan if the mill kill isn't going to work, in the form of Wishing Out Hunting Pack to just create a ton of 4/4 beast tokens and hopefully kill your opponent on the next turn. And to make sure that we are able to execute our game plan in Game 1 or out of the sideboard, we have 3 Orum's Chant main deck to stop our opponent from being able to cast spells on the turn that we're going to go off, or we can go Wish for 1 if we need it if we're up against some kind of blue deck. The rest of the sideboard is mostly just to protect our combo outside of one-ofs for the Wish board for combo pieces. We have Xanted Swarms to be able to stop our opponent from casting spells on our turn, Arcane Denial as counter spells, Chain of Vapor to be able to bounce problematic permanents from our opponent, Extract to be able to take a key card out of our opponent's deck if there's some kind of combo deck, or if we think they have a single piece of graveyard hate that we can take out with that, Hurkyl's Recall to be able to bounce all of the problematic artifacts on our opponent's side of the board, such as if they have a bunch of Tormod's Crypts, or if they have a bunch of artifact synergies, such as the Tinker Fling deck that I played previously. Some card draw in the form of Words of Wisdom, another Intuition to act as a tutor target, and then another Brain Freeze so that we can always have access to Brain Freeze either in our main deck or in our sideboard. So let's see how Storm does in Premodern, see if it's any better than it is in Legacy, and see if I can do the crazy math that is involved in this version of Storm versus all of the Legacy Storm decks that I've played. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please do me a favor, drop a like and a comment below and hype the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so. It's a great free way to support the channel and know when my videos are going live. With that all being said, let's storm off in Premodern. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Alright, won the die roll. Let's storm off in Premodern. I like this. This is all the mana that we need and a little bit of card selection, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We can go get our basic swamp off of the polluted delta. We will start off with an island, and we will play a Sleight of Hand since it's a sorcery, and see what we find. Lotus Petal and Merchant Scroll. I think we're going to take the Merchant Scroll. That will allow us to go find an Intuition or a Cunning Wish. Or it can allow us to go grab a Brain Freeze to finish off the combo if we need it. Forest from the opponent into a Wirewood Symbiote. So I'm going to guess this is some sort of Elves deck. And we hit an Intuition, so we can go ahead and play the Polluted Delta, and then we'll just pass. We'll plan on Mental Note end of their turn after we go fetch out our basic Swamp. Another force from the opponent. I have no idea if pre-modern Elves has the hand disruption the way that Legacy does. I don't know if it's strictly a mono green deck or if there is black in it. Priest of Titania. Okay, that's not as scary as it could be right now, but with Priest and Wirewood Symbiote, this shit can get kind of crazy. I honestly don't know what the finisher is going to be in pre-modern Elves. They don't have access to like Craterhoof Behemoth. They don't have access to like Azuri or Allosaurus Shepherd. Alright, gets in with the Wirewood Symbiote. And then we will crack our Polluted Delta, go grab our basic Swamp, and then we will cast a Mental Note. And we hit another Dark Ritual, milled a Gemstone Mine, and an Island. City of Brass. So I think we're going to play City of Brass, and then we're going to Intuition for Ill-Gotten Gains. And then we are going to try to go off next turn. The math in this is way harder than Legacy Storm, since we're trying to mill our opponent out versus drain them out with like a Tendrils of Agony. So Brain Freeze is in multiples of 3, and we have to get it up to at least 50. So it's going to take a lot. We're talking 17 spells. But luckily, because of the way Intuition works, we will get an Ill-Gotten Gains to our hand, and we'll get 2 into the graveyard. So we're going to be able to loop it multiple times. Survival of the Fittest. Okay. It is a little awkward that we're only going to have like one... Well, we'll have 2 blue mana, because we're going to need to use 1 blue mana for Merchant Scroll to go find Brain Freeze. And then 1 to actually cast Brain Freeze, but we might need to cast Brain Freeze multiple times, but we'll see. Wirewood Symbiote is getting in for an attack, and they do have Survival active, and they can theoretically get 2 additional mana off of the Priest of Titania. Luckily, there aren't any other Elves, so it's only 2 mana, which it looks like they're using now. And they can bounce a forest back to their hand to get more mana. Okay, they just floated mana for no reason. Okay, well, we will go to the end step. I think they meant to do something there, but messed up. So we will Intuition, take our damage off of City of Brass. We will go grab 3 Ill-Gotten Gains, and then this will also put enough cards in our graveyard to be able to turn on Cabal Ritual for full mana. And then we're just going to see if I can hit 17 spells. We hit a Cunning Wish. Okay, well... Start out with the Dark Rituals, then cast the Cabal Rituals, and then what could we get with this Cunning Wish out of the sideboard? I know there's a Brain Freeze in there, but Merchant Scroll is more mana efficient. The question is do we want to go for the Brain Freeze now to throw it into the graveyard, or do we want to wait? I think we want to wait. So we will go ahead and cast Ill-Gotten Gains, and then we will get back 2 Cabal Rituals and Ill-Gotten Gains. And then get rid of this. They had Squee, Llanowar Elves, Tribal Forge Mage. Okay, so it's like a pseudo Craterhoof Behemoth, so that's probably their win con. But we want Cabal Ritual, and Ill-Gotten Gains. We also can get back a land as well to get more blue mana. Alright, they got back Wirewood Symbiote, Tribal Force Mage, and Llanowar Elves. Well, we will cast 2 Cabal Rituals. And then we have 1 Ill-Gotten Gains left. So we will cast Ill-Gotten Gains. And for this one, we will grab Ill-Gotten Gains, Merchant Scroll, and Cabal Ritual. We will cast Cabal Ritual. And I have not played a land yet this turn, so I can get a land back with Ill-Gotten Gains to give us 1 more blue mana. So I will cast Merchant Scroll, go grab Brain Freeze, and then I will cast Brain Freeze, take a damage off of the City of Traders, Brain Freeze the opponent here. Hopefully they don't have main deck Gaia's Blessing. I am a little worried about that in the sideboard because I don't have a good way to deal with that if they have it in post-board games. We'll get to look at their deck to see what they have. Anger, okay. They do have Gaia's Cradle. Caller of the Claw. Okay, so way to flood the board with bear tokens. bunch of mana dorks, and then we will cast Ill-Gotten Gains, and we will get Island, Brain Freeze, and another Cabal Ritual. They chose Kamal, Fist of Krosa. What does this do? Okay, so that's their mana sink for their end game. That's their pseudo Azuri. Got it. Play the island, play Cabal Ritual, and then Brain Freeze you for the rest of your deck. Okay, got game one. We see what they do. It is just basically playing like traditional Elves does. They just have other finishers instead of Craterhoof Behemoth. And we will take a look at their deck before we sideboard just to see if there's any other tech stuff we need to be worried about. Apparently this yield to all button doesn't actually do anything. And it won't let me auto yield. Okay. They made some changes to the UI, and I'm not 100% sure if I like them or not. Alright, opponent scooped it up after that. Multani's Acolyte. That's a card draw engine. Okay. Uktabi Orangutan. Artifact Destruction. Okay, Deranged Hermit to flood the board with squirrels. Okay, so yeah, it just plays like a traditional Elves deck, but they have Craterhoof Behemoth, or not Craterhoof Behemoth, the Kamal Fist of Krosa, and some other thing I saw here that also acts as a pump when it hits the battlefield. So, ooh, Winter Orb, so they can do Staxy stuff. Okay. Alright, so we need to figure they're going to have some kind of anti-mill hate here. We could try to go wide with beast tokens. We can try bringing in Extract if we think they're going to have Gaia's Blessing, but if they have more than one, that only works once. I don't know if there's really anything we want to bring in here. I'm not expecting a lot of instant speed stuff. It's not like they're going to have Endurance or anything like that that can shuffle our graveyard in at instant speed, so I don't know if we want the Xantid Swarm. We could bring in Chain of Vapors just to bounce problematic permanents. That might not be a bad idea, just to bring that in. I'm not 100% sure if we need the Orim's Chance. It could stop them on a turn they're going to try to go off and prevent them from attacking, but I feel like we're probably better off just bouncing stuff. And then maybe we take out the last Orim's Chant and we do bring it in the Extract and just see what they have in their deck if we have it to try to nab a Gaia's Blessing or something. And let's try something like this one just for game 3 if we go to one. Alright, I don't hate this. A lot of card draw. We have an Ill-Gotten Gains. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We need black mana, but we have a whole bunch of ways to find it. Force from the opponent into a Llanowar Elves. Okay. Even though I am a Storm player at heart in Legacy and in paper, the math for this Storm deck is just so different than what I'm used to when you have Tendrils of Agony as your win con. Alright, so we have access to black mana here. So we will go ahead and Sleight of Hand since it's a sorcery. Another island and a Sleight of Hand. I think we're going to take the land here. Just get our mana under us so that we know we have enough blue mana to be able to Brain Freeze multiple times if we need to. Gaia's Cradle. Alright, so they have a much faster start than they did last time. Korean Ranger. Okay. Into Multani's Acolyte to draw a card. Okay. They have 1 mana available to them right now. Into another Llanowar Elves. They are running out of cards, and they're going to have to pay for this Echo, but they more than easily can. Another Sleight of Hand, so let's play Sleight of Hand. Brain Freeze and Dark Ritual. I don't like putting Brain Freeze at the bottom, but we can shuffle it back. So I think we're going to take the Dark Ritual here, play an island, and I think we'll just play another Sleight of Hand. Just get rid of our Sorcery Seed stuff. Alright, I like Lion's Eye Diamond. That's extra mana and a free spell. Alright, they let the Multani's Acolyte go. Didn't pay for the Echo. I'm also keeping this Lion's Eye Diamond in hand for Storm Count and for the sake of... Okay, Survival of the Fittest. For Storm Count and because they do have, like, Uktabi Orangutan and stuff that can blow this up if it's on the battlefield. Going to activate Survival of the Fittest. Chucked another Multani's Acolyte to go get a Deranged Hermit. Okay. And they don't have the mana to play it yet, which is nice. Getting him a Korean Ranger, that's fine. And I think what we're going to do here is... If we don't draw something we instantly want to play, we're just going to play Polluted Delta and pass. On their end step, we will Mental Note and opt and go and fetch a black. Alright, they're returning a force to their hand and untapping the Llanowar Elves. So this might give them enough mana to be able to play the Deranged Hermit. Because this costs 5. Yeah, that's exactly enough to be able to cast Deranged Hermit. But like I was saying, we'll probably just play Polluted Delta. Then on their end step, we'll crack Delta, go grab our basic Swamp, Opt, and Mental Note to fill the graveyard enough to be able to turn on Cabal Therapy. And then just attempt to go off. But we still need to find the Brain Freeze. Alright, they're not playing it yet. Got it. Okay. Okay, so there's Extract. So I actually like that quite a bit. Because we can play this now, see if they have the whatchamacallit, Gaia's Blessings, so that we know if we have to play around that. Alright, so they've got Anger, Deranged Hermits, Llanowar Elves, Survival of the Fittest. I don't actually think they changed anything. Yeah, I don't think they brought in Gaia's Blessings if they have it. So with all of this said, I think we want to take their payoff spell here with Kamal, Fist of Krosa. It's a 1-of. So we will take that, and then we will pass the turn, and then we will try to go off next turn. But they don't have the Gaia's Blessing, so they don't actually have any anti-mill hate. My only concern would be a Winter Orb, which I saw 3 in their deck. I don't know if they have 4. I should have counted those last time. But playing Winter Orb will severely restrict their mana. Alright, they're casting something face down. And it looks like they're passing the turn after that. Alright, so we basically just need to find Brain Freeze here. And they can turn this face up at any point. Maybe that's their anti-mill hate. But most of the morph cards I saw were like turn up, get a pump, or turn up, destroy an artifact. Getting in with the Curian Ranger, that's fine. Alright, move to end step, crack the Polluted Delta, go grab our basic Swamp, and then we will play Mental Note. This will get us enough cards in the graveyard. Okay, there's an Intuition, and a Merchant Scroll. So I think this should give us enough to be able to go off now. And a Lotus Petal, okay. We are going to play the Lion's Eye Diamond last. And I'll have plenty of blue off of the Lion's Eye Diamond, so I can start with an Opt. I do not... Do I want another island? I don't think so. Gemstone Mine, so we do hit a land anyways. Then we will Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual. I don't think I want to cast the Intuition yet. So we are going to... Actually, I think we do want to cast the Intuition to go grab our other 3 Ill-Gotten Gains and get them in the graveyard so that we can loop this. And this still leaves us plenty of mana to be able to go off here. So we will get our 3 Ill-Gotten Gains so that we can get them in the graveyard so that we can just keep looping. Then we will play Lion's Eye Diamond. And we will cast Ill-Gotten Gains, hold priority, pop the Lion's Eye Diamond for blue. And then we will get back Ill-Gotten Gains, Cabal Ritual, and... Do I want Merchant Scroll now? I think this one will go ahead and grab a Dark Ritual. They had Deranged Hermit, Caller of the Herd, and Masticore. Okay, so they don't have any kind of interaction with our deck at the moment. Okay, so tap for black, play Dark Ritual, play Cabal Ritual, play Ill-Gotten Gains. We will get Cabal Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains, and where did that Merchant Scroll go? We need to hit 16 Storm Count, which we should be able to do pretty easily here. Alright, they got back Collar of the Claw, Deranged Hermit, and Masticore. We will play Cabal Ritual, play Merchant Scroll, grab Brain Freeze, cast Brain Freeze, and then we will mill most of their deck here. And then we will play Ill-Gotten Gains. Ooh, do I have enough mana, actually? Yes, because I can get the Lotus Petal back. Okay. I just need to pop the Lotus Petal before I do this. And then we will pop the Lotus Petal for black. Cast Ill-Gotten Gains. Get back Lotus Petal, Brain Freeze, and Dark Ritual. And now they can get whatever they want. We do fill their hand, but I didn't see anything that messes with our graveyard or with a graveyard. So we will play Lotus Petal, and then we will cast Dark Ritual just for the sake of upping our storm count, even though it's not really necessary. And then we will Brain Freeze them again. And I think we got this, unless whatever that face down card is somehow is able to shuffle their graveyard back in. And their deck is now empty, and we just yield through the turn and let them die in their upkeep. Like I said, unless that face down card somehow shuffles their graveyard back into their library, I think we got the win. Alright, and they scoop it up. Alright, proving I still am worthy in Storm, even in a new format. Okay, on to the next one. Won the die roll. We have quite a bit what we want here, but we're a little short on mana. Do we trust this sleight of hand is the question. I think we're going to, just because the mana is so good here, we're going to keep this and trust in this sleight of hand. Alright, play our City of Brass, take a little damage, play a sleight of hand. Double Lion's Eye Diamond, well, doesn't really give us much of a choice there. Force from our opponent, and we are up against Elves again. Okay. That is one of the things with pre-modern queues, is a lot of the time the player base is pretty small, so you run into the same players pretty frequently. We drew a Cabal Ritual, which, again, is good for mana, but we're going to pass the turn here. We really need some more lands. Into a Llanowar Elves, into a Gaia's Cradle, into a Sylvan Library. And they're getting in with the Fyndhorn Elves. Okay. Another Cabal Ritual. Well, since we are going to have to discard, we are going to go ahead and play out the Lotus Petal just so we don't have to discard. Like, we are going to have a metric fuckload of mana once we find a payoff spell, or we find another land so we can make blue and black. Land from the opponent. They kept 2 off of the Sylvan Library. Playing a Wirewood Symbiote into a Priest of Titania. Okay, so they have just a metric fuck ton of mana here, but they've only got 3 cards in hand. Into a Survival of the Fittest. Okay. Activating Survival, chucking Thornscape Battle Mage. Okay. Found an Anger, which I'm assuming they're going to chuck. Yep, chucking the Anger. They still technically have 2 mana into a Squee Goblin Nabob. So that is a free chuck to Survival of the Fittest to find whatever they need. And they chose not to attack, so I'm assuming that means they're going to search up on my turn. I think if we hit another land, we might just go for it here, because we are going to have a ton of mana to do what we need to do here. Because what we want to do, it feels a little weird having the 2 Cabal Rituals not produce just a ton of mana, but we will play that. These Lion's Eye Diamonds are going to help significantly. Cast Lion's Eye Diamond, tap for black, and tap for black. These still count for mana, just not as much as they could. So play Cabal Ritual, play a Cabal Ritual. So we're at 4 mana here. We want to Merchant Scroll, use blue mana here, and then we will crack one of these for blue, one of these for black, and then we will use this to go get Intuition, which Intuition will go get us Ill-Gotten Gains. And then we will grab an Intuition. Intuition will get us Ill-Gotten Gains. And then Ill-Gotten Gains, this is going to put 2 of them in the graveyard. And then we will play Ill-Gotten Gains, use 1 blue to have 2 mana up. We will get back a Ill-Gotten Gains, a Cabal Ritual, and a Lion's Eye Diamond. They chucked a Squee and a Deranged Hermit. Okay, so they don't have any interaction. We're at 7. We need to hit 16. We will play out Lion's Eye Diamond. We will cast Cabal Ritual. Then with Ill-Gotten Gains on the stack, we will crack this for blue. We will get Ill-Gotten Gains, Cabal Ritual, and Brain Freeze. We will Cabal Ritual. We will Brain Freeze. Same targets. And then we will mill them this way. See if this looks any different than the other Elves deck. So far, it looks the same. Then we will cast Ill-Gotten Gains. And I think we're going to use all of the black here, and we will get Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Brain Freeze. We will play the Lotus Petal, play a Lion's Eye Diamond, Brain Freeze our opponent, and this will get the rest of their deck. Okay, cool. Took down Elves again. Alright, with that being said, I think we're going to do what we did last time, bring in the Chain of Vapors and the Extract, take out the Orm's Chance, and try that. Alright, okay, I like this. We need a little more mana, but we've got a bunch of selection, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this. We didn't see any discard from our opponent. They're splashing red, not black, so our hand should be pretty safe. Force from the opponent. Into a Findahorn Elves. Okay. Yield through the turn. Ooh, Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so they actually have some graveyard hate, so we're going to have to find a way to deal with that Tormod's Crypt. But we did bring in the bounce spells. Take some damage off of our City of Brass. Opt Mental Note. We could try to fuel our graveyard for the sake of trying to mess with the opponent. But I think we're gonna take the opt and then pass the turn and try to see if we can go find one of our Chain of Vapors to bounce Tormod's Crypt on their end step and try to pop off from there. Our opponent is playing a Wirewood Symbiote, so this is gonna give them 3 more mana. Okay, they just have a ton of mana into a Priest of Titania, and then we'll pass the turn. They've only got 1 card in hand. Another opt. Well, we will opt. See if we can hit a land. Cunning Wish. Put that on the bottom. We draw a Lion's Eye Diamond. We've got 8 cards, so we have to play something. So we will play out one of the Lion's Eye Diamonds. And then pass the turn. We will just F6 through the turn. There's nothing we're going to be able to do here. Ooh, Tangle Wire. Alright, so they're a much more stacksy version. So, I mean, this sucks. We probably lost this one, unfortunately. Okay, there's Extract. That doesn't really do anything for us because we don't have any lands, and they already got their Tormod's Crypt on the battlefield. We can't do anything, so we'll pass through the turn. Also realized we could have opted in our upkeep, but that was a mistake by me. Alright, tapping down some stuff here. 1 card in hand. Hopefully it's just like a land and nothing crazy. Just another Courier Ranger. Okay. Just doing this to untap their land or else so they can attack with it. That's fine. We'll take 4, go to 9, we're going to go to 8. We are going to go ahead and just opt here. City of Brass putting a trigger on the stack kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie. Another Cabal Ritual that we don't need. Okay, we hit a land, I like that. Tap the 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds. Another Ill-Gotten Gains. Okay. So at least I have the opt to be able to try to scry. We need to find the Chain of Vapor, and if we can find the Chain of Vapor, I think we have enough to be able to go off. Alright, get in for 5. That's fine. We go to 3. They have 1 card in hand. Untapping their Priest of Titania. Replaying the land. Go to end step. Make some blue. We really need to see Chain of Vapor off of this. Intuition is not going to do it. So we need to put that to the bottom. We hit a Dark Ritual. Tangle Wire happens. I can tap the Lion's Eye Diamonds. Those are fine. I really need this to be Chain of Vapor. Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll can go get Chain of Vapor. So I think we just try to go for it here. Take some damage, no response. And we'll be able to get blue mana. Cast a Dark Ritual. Cast a Dark Ritual. That's 6 mana. Because they're also going to have to... They're going to have to pop this in response to the Ill-Gotten Gains. So I tap this for Merchant Scroll. I get what you call it. I don't think I have the mana to do this. Like, that's the problem. So I can tap this, go grab whatchamacallit, and then with Ill-Gotten Gains, no. The timing on this is just so weird. So we're going to go ahead and Merchant Scroll, go grab Chain of Vapor. We're going to try to Cabal Ritual and see if they pop it now. No. Play Cabal Ritual, just make an absolute shitload of mana. And then we will Ill-Gotten Gains. With this on the stack, we crack these. And now they can crack Tormod's Crypt. But this is like our only line. If they crack Tormod... Okay, yeah. Okay, they just had the turn 1 Graveyard Hate, which we couldn't get enough blue mana to work our way through, unfortunately. So, with that being said, I think we're just going to run it back. Alright, so I got to worry about Tormod's Crypt. Well, we have an Extract, so we can actually do it on turn 1. Let's go ahead and keep this. Unfortunately, I've only got 1 blue mana, but I think it's worth doing Extract on 1 and hope that they don't have Tormod's Crypt in hand. We will cast Lotus Petal, play the Swamp, play Extract, see what they're working with over there. A full 4 Tormod's Crypts. Or 3, which means they might have 1 in hand, unless they've only got 3. No other anything here, so I guess we're going to just take the Tormod's Crypt and pass, and hope that we hit a land to be able to play this sleight of hand. Forest into a Llanowar Elves, okay. Blue land? Blue mana? Blue land, excellent. Play sleight of hand. Cabal Ritual Lotus Petal. I think at this point we just want the Lotus Petal. And now we just have to find a tutor of some sort before they find one of their last 2 Tormod's Crypts. Survival of the Fittest, okay. And a pass. I'm surprised they didn't just tap mana to do that and get in. City of Brass, okay, well we're hitting our land drops. Now we literally just need a tutor and we can go crazy. Chucking Anger, okay. To grab a Squee. Chucking the Squee, which is free, to get a Curian Ranger, playing the Curian Ranger to untap their Llanowar Elves, bounce a forest. They still have 3 mana, 3 cards in hand, and a Tangle Wire. Okay, that's going to buy him a little bit of time. Fortunately, I don't have an instant to be able to do anything with here. Okay, there's the Ill-Gotten Gains. So, if I can find a tutor for Brain Freeze, we can go off once this Tangle Wire finishes its route. We can't do anything, so we'll Essex through the turn. And we still just gotta try to dodge Tormod's Crypt for as long as possible. So we know they have Squee back in their hand. Like I said, it's basically just biding our time until we can find a tutor, and they hopefully don't find either of the last 2 Tormod's Crypts. Priest of Titania, okay. So they're gonna have a bunch of mana. They still got 3 cards in hand. 1 is a Squee. Wirewood Symbiote, okay. 2 cards, 1's a Squee. An opponent still isn't attacking. Fortunately, I don't have any responses for this. That is a Sleight of Hand. So I could play Lotus Petal and play Sleight of Hand to try to set up my next turn. Or I think I'm just going to wait here, because I'll have 2 lands available to me next turn. I could have played Lion's Eye Diamond out to have something to tap that doesn't matter, so I can have 2 lands open, but I'm worried about them having some sort of artifact destruction spell. Alright, Yavimaya Granger. When it enters, go find a forest. Alright, Tangle Wire goes down to 2. I think next turn we might try to go off, but hopefully we find a whatchamacallit spell, a tutor. Opponent keeps tapping and untapping mana. Plays the Yavimaya Granger, finds a tapped forest, which they can... Oh, they found a mountain to give everything haste. Okay. 4 mana. Ooh. Untapping their Priest of Titania. Do they have something big? 8 mana. Survival of the Fittest. They can go find a Hermit Druid. Create 3 squirrels. 4 squirrels. It's 8. Okay, we are taking a ton of damage here. 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, go to 5. Or they can go find another Hermit Druid. 16. Yeah, that's game. Okay, we were like 1 turn off. Holy shit. I might draw my next card just to see what it would be. Alright, let's see if this is going to let me draw a card. Just see what our next card would have been. Would it have gotten us there? Mental Note. Okay, I don't think any of that would have gotten us there anyways, but okay. Beating Elves once, losing Elves once. On to the next one. The die roll. Alright, I like this. We can go ahead and keep this. We'll start out with Island into Sleight of Hand. Dark Ritual, City of Brass. I think we're going to take the Dark Ritual. And I'd like a little more mana and a tutor. Yavimaya Coast into a chromatic sphere. Okay. No, the Tronland. Were the Tronlands printed in Premodern? Is Premodern Tron a thing? City of Brass. We will play a gemstone mine and we will pass the turn. We will mental note on their end step. Island from the opponent. Passing the turn. I'm kind of expecting counter magic from our opponent. Milled a Cabal Ritual and Orm's Chant. Drew a gemstone mine. They appear to be F6'd, but I'm going to wait before trying to go off. I want to wait for them to tap out before I go out. I'm kind of irrationally afraid of counter magic here. And they're definitely not F6'd anymore. Cracking the Chromatic Star for white. To play Enlightened Tutor. Okay, what are they going to find off of this? Finding a Phyrexian Furnace. Okay, so that can keep my graveyard in check for a little bit. But I can fill it very easily. So they're drawing the Furnace for turn. Playing the Furnace. Okay. Lotus Petal. Okay. Eating a card out of my graveyard. That's fine. I would like them not to eat this Cabal Therapy. Oath of Druids. Okay, well, I don't have any creatures. They have 1 mana. We will crack this, go grab our basic swamp, and we hit an intuition. So I think we just pop off here. Play Gemstone Mine, play Lotus Petal, cast Dark Ritual, and then... do we just Intuition for the rest of the Ill-Gotten Gains? We probably do. Cast Intuition. Grab the rest of the Ill-Gotten Gains. They could pop their Furnace to eat our Cabal Therapy, but I don't think that particularly helps them at the moment. So we will remove for black. Just go black mana for now. We can get these Lotus Petals back. Then we will Ill-Gotten Gains. See if they want to eat our Cabal Therapy. Or Cabal Ritual. Alright. Any order. They did not eat in response. Lion's Eye Diamond. Renewed Faith. So they're a cycling deck? I want Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains. And we will cast a Ritual. Cast Ill-Gotten Gains. And they're going to exile the Intuition. Okay. So we will get back Mental Note. I need a Petal is the problem here. Or do I need to get some more mana first? I think I just need mana first. So we'll grab Petal, Cabal Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains. Them taking that Intuition was kind of annoying. Play the Petal. Play the Cabal Ritual. Pop this for blue. Alright, so what do I need here? I think I need Mental Note, Dark Ritual, and Ill-Gotten Gains. Play Mental Note. Bind 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds. What did they get back? They got back Furnace, Enlightened Tutor, and Chromatic Sphere. They could have some kind of graveyard hate spell here. I can Ill-Gotten Gains, but then I have no mana left, and it's my last one. So if I Ill-Gotten Gains again, I can Mental Note again. I actually don't have the mana for that. But I can Ill-Gotten Gains to get back Cabal Ritual, Mental Note, and a Lion's Eye Diamond if I want to. That might be the best bet here. And unfortunately, this is our last Ill-Gotten Gains. But we'll do this. Grab Cabal Rit, Mental Note, and I don't think I can win anymore because all my Ill-Gotten Gains are gone. But yeah, we'll grab Lion's Eye Diamond. And then we'll pass the turn and just hope for the best. The nice part is this Oath of Druids is never going to do anything. I ended up getting back Phyrexian Furnace, Enlightened Tutor, and Chromatic Sphere. Alright, let's see. If there's some way we can build all of this up is going to be the question. They can't start... yeah, they're just going to... oh, they're popping for Enlightened Tutor. Okay. To find another Phyrexian Furnace so they can eat 4 cards out of our graveyard. But it basically taps their mana down. Turn off auto yields because I want to Mental Note and end step. We're going to crack this. Go grab another island. Unfortunately, with all of them gone, I really don't know if there's a way that we can get there. Unless we just naturally find a couple of brainstorm or brain freezes. And we hit another Cabal Ritual, okay. And we hit a Cunning Wish. What can I get out of the sideboard with Cunning Wish here? I can get a Brain Freeze. I could also go for Hunting Pack, but then they're going to get something big. The question is do we get enough creatures to be able to deal with whatever they get off of this Oath of Druids? Because it'll end up being for 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 5. I get 5 of them, and then hope that that's enough to be able to win through whatever they put onto the battlefield. That's probably my best bet here. So we're going to Lion's Eye Diamond, Cabal Ritual, cast Cunning Wish holding priority, pop for green mana. I guess we're going to get to see what they have in their Oath of Druids package so that we can learn to play around it. And then we will pass the turn and hope that 5 of these will work. We will see what they can get off their Oath of Druids package, I suppose. Eating some more stuff out of our graveyard, that's fine. I don't really care about any of that. Like I said, we're out of our ill-gotten gains anyways, so we will see how scary their Oath of Druids package is here. What is this? First strike, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each card in your graveyard. And it's a 4/4? Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to win this. We'll just pass the turn, we'll see. The first strike is annoying. And they're just passing the turn. We hit a sleight of hand, so we can play that. There's a world where we can bounce this. I guess we will grab the Polluted Delta, play that, and we can get in, lose one of our dudes, and opponent is going to tap one of them, draw a card, okay. Well, I still think we have to attack, unfortunately, and we will just see what their package looks like from here. Like, we can always find another Cunning Wish to be able to bounce this, but we'll just have to see how scary their creature package is. If it's just all of these, then I think we're just dead. Oh, they have main deck Gaia's Blessing and 3. I literally don't think we can win this match. Yeah, we'll go to the next one. I literally don't think we can win this match. We have to 100% rely on the creature package here. We'll bring in the Chain of Vapors, bring in the Arcane Denials. I don't think we're seeing counter magic out of our opponent. I should have looked at their deck a little bit more, but we can take those out. And we have 2 more things to cut here. I want to keep the ill-gotten gains. I think we're cutting the Brain Freezes. We are not milling them out whatsoever. So let's try that. Alright, let's see if we can get this together here. Okay, Chain of Vapor, Arcane Denial. We're going to go ahead and keep this. And we'll play an island. Basically what we need to do is bide our time until we can get a large enough storm count to be able to get our beast tokens on the battlefield and then bounce a Chain of Vapor before they are able to actually get a creature onto the battlefield. Blooded Strand into island from the opponent. I will say, one thing I absolutely love about playing Premodern right now is just, there's so many cards I don't know what they do, so I'm just constantly reading. They have their Graveyard Hate, but we're not really trying to go for a graveyard line here. Lost a Lotus Petal and a Sleight of Hand, got another Lion's Eye Diamond, okay. A Gemstone Mine. We do have Arcane Denial to be able to counter an Oath of Druids as well. But this definitely gives us enough mana to be able to do our thing. We just need to find a Cunning Wish or a way to get the Cunning Wish. I will say, I didn't realize that Arcane Denial allows your opponent to draw 2, which is a little rough, but we get to draw 1 as well. Our game plan here is basically just keep Oath of Druids off the battlefield. Alright, another Phyrexian Furnace, into a Lion's Eye Diamond, into a Windswept Heath. We could have tried to counter something, but isn't really worth it. All this really comes down to is Oath of Druids. We'll play another Gemstone Mine and pass. We're literally just biding our time until we can find a counter spell. Or, tutor. You have a Mayakos from the opponent. Cracks their Windswept Heath. Get an island. Sylvan Library. Do I care about that? No. Like I say, it's really just Oath of Druids. Into a Chromatic Sphere, that's fine. They will eventually get to the point where they're going to have enough mana to just, like, hard cast their big creatures. Sleight of Hand. Well, we can play that. Like I said, we're basically just looking for tutors here. We will grab the Polluted Delta, just keep building up our mana, and then thinning our deck of cards we don't want. This Cabal Ritual is only ever going to be good for one. Eating their own graveyard, interesting. Sylvan Library triggers. Keeping at least one card. Alright, they kept one card. Cracking their Chromatic Sphere into a Meddling Mage. They could name Ill-Gotten Gains here. I think we need to counter this, unfortunately. And our one swamp is gone, so all we can get is an island off of this. Yep, go ahead and eat that. That's fine. We have a Chain of Vapor to be able to... Oh, we still do have our swamp, actually. But I think we want blue mana here. Okay. That wasn't... okay. Apparently I clicked okay by accident. Naming Cunning Wish. So we're going to have to bounce that. That's fine. That just gives us something to aim our Chain of Vapor at when we're ready to go off. We hit an Ill-Gotten Gains. That's not doing anything for us this game. It can up our storm count, though, if we need it to. Alright, didn't keep any cards off of that. Plays an island. Ravenous Baloth. So they're going to have a clock now. So if they brought in creatures, they might not even have whatchamacallit in the deck anymore. Oath of Druids. I think we're just going to go ahead and counter this. We'll get to draw 2. Getting in with the Meddling Mage for 2, that's fine. We get our extra draw. They get to draw 2. We hit an Ill-Gotten Gains, which isn't doing anything for us. And we hit a Mental Note, so I guess we're going to pass the turn. Mental Note on our end, or on their end step. Yep, they can keep our graveyard clear, that's fine. Not keeping any extra cards. Playing a Chromatic Sphere, that's fine. Played Flooded Strand, cracked Flooded Strand. Plays another Lion's Eye Diamond. Enlightened Tutor, okay. Cracking their Lion's Eye Diamonds for 6 blue mana. Okay. Found Future Sight. Alright, no response here. They have another Meddling Mage. Well, I don't have a response for that. They have a land on the top of their library. What do they name off of this? If they name Chain of Vapor, we're just dead. Tendrils of Agony. Not a card in my deck, so that doesn't matter. They're eating a card to draw a card. Another Yavimaya on top. Alright, so we need this Mental Note to kind of go crazy here. Alright, show me the tutor, please. Dark Ritual, Sleight of Hand. That doesn't do it. They can eat the Sleight of Hand. Alright, I need something good here. Another Cabal Ritual. I've got 8 cards in hand. Just not drawing the part of the deck that we need here. We're just going to kind of have to hope that they don't really have anything. We'll just discard an Ill-Gotten Gains. We're not fucking doing anything with it anyways. Chuck Ill-Gotten Gains. I mean, luckily their clock is relatively slow at the moment. It is a 4-turn clock at the moment. And they have a Sylvan Library on the top of their deck. Ravenous Baloth. Okay, so I think I've got like 1 turn to get through this. Just gonna ice the thing to draw a card. They get 2 Ravenous Baloths. We take 1. That's fine. Like I said, I think we got like 1 draw step to get out of this. Played a Sylvan Library off the top. Played the Gaia's Blessing. To shuffle in Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lion's Eye Diamond. They don't have any additional mana to be able to play this 3rd Meddling Mage. Now they do. But it looks like they're choosing not to, or they're doing it post-combat. Take 4. Yeah, we need a hell of a draw step here. See what they name with this. If I even have a... If they name Chain of Vapor, we're just completely out of the game here. And they name Chain of Vapor. Yeah, that's the hard lock there. Alright. Yeah, this deck is just like the hard counter for what we're trying to do here. But okay, on to the next one. Alright, lost the die roll. See what we got here. We got Ill-Gotten Gains. We got some card draw. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We have tutors to try to find stuff that we need. And we have some redundancy even if we're up against a discard deck. Force from the opponent. Okay, we're playing against a lot of green today, apparently. And we hit a Cabal Ritual, so we can almost kind of go off here. We'll play the Polluted Delta with the plan of grabbing a island and mental noting on end step. Yavimaya Coast. Okay, are we up against the same kind of deck again? We will crack the Polluted Delta, grab an island, play Mental Note, Got another ill-gotten gains and a couple of lands into the graveyard. We hit another mental note. We will play City of Brass. Our pinch point right now is blue mana. 2 mana for an accumulated knowledge. Okay, so this opponent could have counter spells we're going to have to watch out for. We could have Merchant Scrolled there, but I'd rather try to mental note. Polluted Delta from the opponent. Passing the turn. We will mental note again. Okay, we hit the Brain Freeze. And I'm just a little worried about counter magic is really the only thing I'm concerned about at this point. We hit a Dark Ritual, so we can try to just pop off here. And I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, get our damage from our City of Brass. Okay, I'm getting some weird bugs being reported in the chat log all of a sudden. So I don't know what that's about. Alright, cast our Dark Ritual. Cast our Cabal Ritual. I could Intuition first to go find some Lotus Petals or Lion's Eye Diamonds, which might not be a bad idea, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Grab some Lotus Petals. Alright, we're seeing a response from the opponent here. If this gets countered, we can still ill-gotten gains and get a bunch of stuff back here. Okay, counterspell. That's fine. We will then ill-gotten gains. We can get back Cabal Ritual. The problem is we don't have any mana. Well, we'll get back Cabal Ritual, ill-gotten gains, and a land to try to set up to go again next turn. But they can get back Counterspell, Pernicious Deed, Diabolic Edict, Smother. Okay, so they're like Sultai Control. Chose... They got a Duress out of that. I didn't see that in the pile. And I've already played my land for turn. Yeah. I think we're just going to scoop it up, go to the next one. We fizzled there. I wasn't really counting my mana correctly, I guess. I thought I had more blue mana in the graveyard I could play, but I didn't. So let's grab Orm's Chant, bring in the Xantid Swarms. What do we want to take out? I think we'll take out the Sleight of Hands. They're the worst of our cantrips. And we'll try that. Alright, let's see if we can piece this together. Okay, I don't hate this. We'll go ahead and keep this. I'm a little worried about them having Mill Hate. Since they are green, Gaia's Blessing is definitely something I need to be concerned about. But we will just play a Polluted Delta and pass. We'll plan on grabbing a Island and Mental Noting. I will say, it seems like Premodern is very ready for mill decks, which is not something you run into in Legacy quite as often. So we'll crack the Delta, get the Island. Our opponent played an Island. We lost a ill-gotten gains, got an Opt. We hit a Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, so we could try to pop off here if we really wanted to. Like, we have the mana to do it. It's just a matter of, do we want to? They have 1 mana up. I don't think we're going to be able to win the whatchamacallit war here. I also could just try to ritual off into Intuition, find Cunning Wish, grab this thing. How much mana do I need for that? That's 7, so I've got 3, 5, 8... 9, 10, -3 Intuition. Yeah, that's not quite enough mana. I think we gotta pass the turn. I could try to go for the full-on Ill-Gotten Gains mill plan, but I very much think they have Gaia's Blessings in their deck. Reflecting Pool. Okay. Well, we will opt end of turn. See if we just hit a Cunning Wish. Mental Note. Yeah, we'll put that on top. We can draw that. And then we will cast it. Merchant Scroll, Xantid Swarm. We got a Lotus Petal, okay. Orm's Chant can help us out as well. We have an Opt. Let's see if we can find a land. Lotus Petal. I think we're going to put that into the graveyard. We draw a Merchant Scroll. Okay. So Merchant Scroll is a cheaper way to go find our Cunning Wish. So if we don't do anything next turn, we might just Merchant Scroll and see if it eats a counter. Underground River. I'm also a little worried about a Pernicious Deed killing all of our tokens. We did see they have those. We hit another Intuition. So we could try... Since we have 2 intuitions, we could try to do it twice. I think we're just going to try to do a Merchant Scroll, see if this gets countered. That does not get countered. We can go ahead and grab a Cunning Wish. We have 8 cards in hand. We will play out the Lotus Petal. And then we will pass the turn. And we will probably attempt to go off next turn. How many counterspells does our opponent have? I would love an Orum's Chant or a Xantid Swarm. We hit a Polluted Delta, so we can play that. I think we're still just going to keep passing until we can try to force this through. We can also Intuition on their end step. Another AK, got it. I think we are going to try to Intuition on their end step. See if we get any kind of response out of them from it. Basic Swamp. A Duress. Okay, well, they can see our hand, see what they want to take. We have 2 Intuitions. They took the Cunning Wish. Alright, I think this is our hole to try to go for it here. And we will go ahead and fetch out... I think we're going to get a Swamp with this one. And then we're going to see if they counter this Intuition. Alright, they did not. We will grab the Orum's Chance. See how many counter spells they have here. And we draw a City of Brass. So we will play that. So again, how much mana do we have here? So I've got 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. 1 for Orum's Chant goes down to 10. Intuition goes to 7. I can go grab Cunning Wish or Ill-Gotten Gains. Or I can just go grab all of the Ill-Gotten Gains, and then I can kind of just storm off from there. I guess we will see if this gets countered first. And we're probably just going to have to put them to the test and see if they have 2 counter spells. Alright. Let my damage go through. Now they're going to... Now the Orange Chant is on the stack. We're getting a response here. Fact or fiction? Okay. What is all of this? Exile all cards from target player's graveyard other than basic lands. I guess we will let them have this, this, and this. Or they can have an AK and a forest. They are tapped out now, though. So I should be free to go crazy. And we just gotta hope that they... Oh, Haunting Echoes is kind of crazy. I've never seen this card before. We basically just have to hope that they don't have or find a Pernicious Deed. But they are tapped out, so it looks like Orum's Chant's probably going to resolve. And then we just kind of go crazy and hope for the best. Like I said, it all comes down to, can they find a Pernicious Deed, or do they already have one? They might have taken them out, seeing that we're a Storm deck and not expecting a creature juke. Alright, they chose... I don't know what pile they chose. But Orum's Chant resolved, so now we kind of just go crazy here. And then we can cast Lion's Eye Diamond. We will Intuition. With this on the stack, we will pop this for... We'll pop this for green. We will go find our 3 Ill-Gotten Gains. And then we will play Ill-Gotten Gains. See what's in their hand. Oh, fuck. They do have Pernicious Deed. God damn it. Okay. We'll see if they get it back is going to be the question. But we want Ill-Gotten Gains, Cabal Ritual, and Lion's Eye Diamond. And they are an Oath of Druids deck. They are getting back the Pernicious Deed. That's unfortunate. Haunting Echoes. Alright, they got back Counterspell, Haunting Echoes, Pernicious Deed. Is there any way to give these things haste in this deck? I don't think there is. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this here. Cast this, pop this for blue this time. See how they finish this all up. We will grab Ill-Gotten Gains, Cabal Ritual, and Lion's Eye Diamond. See if they're just going to choose the same 3 again. They are. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Play Cabal Ritual. And then we will Ill-Gotten Gains one more time. Using our black mana. Pop this for more black mana. Do I have anything that can get a card out of their hand? I can try to grab an Arcane Denial. I've got one more Ill-Gotten Gains left, so we're going to grab that. Do I just do this for more mana again? Do I trust that they actually have... Because, like, the problem is this Pernicious Deed. And they're going to have Pernicious Deed and Counterspell. So even if I try to counter the Pernicious Deed, they're going to be able to counter it back. I suppose what I could do is Ill-Gotten Gains. I need 2 Cunning Wishes as part of the problem here. Merchant Scroll and Cabal Ritual? We will Cabal Ritual, Merchant Scroll. There's a part of me that just wants to see if they actually have the Gaia's Blessings in the deck. But I have a feeling they do. We will grab Cunning Wish. We will cast Cunning Wish. Grab Arcane Denial. Have I played a land yet this turn? I don't think I have. Then I will pop this for blue. We will do this again. Use a green. We will grab Cunning Wish, Cabal Ritual, and... Oh, fuck no. I don't think any of this works now. I don't think I have enough mana. Alright, what do I need here? I need Cunning Wish, Cabal Ritual. I have one more card. I have no mana or anything, so I think that Arcane Denial ended up not really mattering. I mean, at this point, we're pretty much just dead. I think we just go for the Brain Freeze anyways. And then I guess we will grab... Yeah, we'll grab Lotus Petal. I don't think any of this matters, if we're being completely honest here. I'm pretty sure they have the Gaia's Blessings, but we're gonna try. We just have to hope for the best here. Grab the Brain Freeze. Show me the Gaia's Blessing, and I will scoop. We had to dodge that Pernicious Deed, and we could have had a way out of it, but the fact that they had it in their hand... Alright. Once I see a Gaia's Blessing go on the stack... And they got it. Okay, I mean, that was fucking rough. This is the type of deck specifically that preys on this deck. These things that have main deck Gaia's Blessings and everything, but... Alright, let's see if we can get a win in the final round. Alright, I had to take a break. Back for the final round. Won the die roll. Let's see if we can bookend this here. We got mana. We got card draw. I think we're going to keep this. See where it goes. Alright, I think we are going to go ahead and start out with Polluted Delta, crack it to go get an island, and then I think we're going to pass the turn from here. We probably didn't need to crack it, but the reason I started off with this instead of one of these is, one, it can't get, like, wastelanded, and two, it helps put another card into the graveyard for threshold purposes. Island from the opponent. Okay. I think end of turn, we are going to go ahead and opt instead of Mental Note. Ill-Gotten Gains. Alright, we definitely want that on top. Hopefully our opponent is not on a discard deck. And we hit another Polluted Delta. Okay. So we'll just play the other Polluted Delta, pass the turn. We will plan on cracking it to go get our basic Swamp. And then Mental Note in their end step. Blue-red. Interesting. Okay. Counter Magic is a thing we might have to worry about. I'm not 100% sure here, but let's crack the Delta, go grab a Swamp, play Mental Note. Merchant Scroll up. We hit a Sleight of Hand. Okay. And we hit a Cunning Wish. Okay. I think we're going to start off with Sleight of Hand. We're still going to wait. I kind of want them to tap down before I do anything else. Sleight of Hand, Brain Freeze. I think we're going to take the Brain Freeze. I'd really like a Cabal Therapy. Or Cabal Ritual. And let's play a Gemstone Mine. Because, I mean, we have quite a bit of mana here. But we've only got one Ill-Gotten Gains. We could go find Intuition with Merchant Scroll. But I think we want to just hang on for now. And worst case scenario, if they kind of go crazy, we could just do a little mini Brainstorm on our opponent's turn just to fill our own graveyard and hopefully hit some more Ill-Gotten Gains and some Cabal Therapies. Accumulated Knowledge from the opponent. Okay. Chivalry from the opponent. I'm wondering... This could be like the Tinker Fling deck that I played before. We hit another land, so we could attempt to brainstorm ourselves for setup for the following turn. I think we're going to wait. Just play the island and pass. We might Cunning Wish on our opponent's end step. to go grab something. I'm just not sure what yet. We can also always Cunning Wish for an Arcane Denial for a counter spell if our opponent tries to do something crazy. Alright, another AK into a Lightning Bolt. Okay. Are there Delver style strategies in this format? I know like Delver proper isn't in the format. Mishra's Factory. Alright. And just passing the turn. I feel like they've got to have counter magic, right? Well, let's Cunning Wish. See if we can get some kind of counter out of our opponent's hand with this. We're getting a response. Mana Leak. We could actually pay for this. Is there anything in our sideboard that we would want? We could grab Intuition. We lose our Dark Ritual. Alright, we'll just let it go for now. And we have another Ill-Gotten Gain, so at least that's another one in our hand. I think we're gonna go ahead and just play the City of Brass and pass. The fact that we have a second Ill-Gotten Gains I like because it lets us go again, but I'd really like a Cabal Therapy or something. Alright, tap our City of Brass and draw a card. Yep, we'll take one off of that, that's fine. So this is definitely some kind of like control/tempo deck. Playing an island and passing the turn still. So we just got to try to find our hole to go off here. Another Dark Ritual. Do we try to go for it here? We could do a mini Brain Freeze ourselves, and then go for double Ill-Gotten Gains. Because we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 mana, which is just enough to do both. I think we try to go for it and see if we can work through multiple counter spells from our opponent. Seeing a counter here. Prohibit. Counter target spell, mana value 2 or less. Okay, well, we'll let that one go. We'll try again. They have another counter for this Dark Ritual. It looks like maybe another Prohibit. Okay, so we have enough mana to be able to Ill-Gotten Gains, get back Dark Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains, or we could just Brain Freeze ourselves here to set up for next turn, and they're down to 4 cards, and then we have double Ill-Gotten Gains to just try to pop off again. I think that might be what we do here, just to try to be safe, just to fuel our graveyard a little bit more, and then move to our end step, and then we will Brain Freeze ourselves to fuel our graveyard. If they have some kind of main deck graveyard hate here, that is going to suck a little bit, but alright, we hit some Lion's Eye Diamonds. I like that. Orm's Chant. Okay, there's a Cabal Ritual. That's really what we want here. And we have 2 Ill-Gotten Gains to try to go off with. Alright, opponent's passing the turn. We lost 1 Orm's Chant. Another Orm's Chant would be nice here. Sleight of Hand. So if we start off with an Ill-Gotten Gains, we'll have 2 mana left over. And if it gets countered, it puts it into the graveyard. We need to work through these counter spells. However, they can get a Prohibit back with mana open. So I'd like to find... I could grab the Brain Freeze and see what happens. I think we're going to grab the Opt. I think we're going to try to wait one more turn here. Like, the only problem is if they pass the turn with mana up, another Accumulated Knowledge, so drawing 3. Yeah, the only problem is if they pass with mana up, they can get one of their counter spells back, and then we have to work our way through that. Opponent's doing something, and they're going to ice. Well, since we're tapping this anyways, we'll just take the damage, and then we're going to opt. Like I said, I'd love to find an Orm's Chant here. A Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll actually take that, because that's going to give us some extra mana with Ill-Gotten Gains. If one resolves. And they're burning us with this. Okay, so they're a counter burn deck. Got it. I gotta get to a point where I can tap them out. Fairy Conclave. Okay, so it is like pseudo Delver. Grim Lavamancer. Okay. Do they tap out for anything else? No. Okay. And we hit a Mental Note. I think we want to start off with that. We hit a Cunning Wish. Is there anything that we want off of this Cunning Wish? We can go grab Orm's Chant and set up for next turn. I think that's probably what we're gonna do here. So what? We'll probably take 2, 4, 5, unless they randomly have another counterspell. So I think we're going to go ahead and plan on Cunning Wishing for an Orm's Chant on their end step. More blue mana. Another ice. Okay. I'm down to 8. Can they get 8 points of damage in? Because this is 2, this is 6. Can't be countered. Deals 3 damage to any target. Alright. So I think we're just dead here because they activate all of these. We can Cunning Wish, try to bounce something. Okay, yeah, unfortunately I think we're going to have to go Cunning Wish and then bounce one of their creatures. And just hope that they don't have anything else they can do. No response. Okay, this is going to be real tight here. Move to combat. Let them declare attackers. Then we will Cunning Wish. If they have a counter, we're just dead. It is what it is. And they have a mana leak. Okay. I probably waited too long, but they just had a shitload of counter spells here. So against what they're doing, we want the last Orm's Chant in. We want the Xantid Swarms in. I think we probably take out the Sleight of Hands because they're the worst one of our cantrips, and we try that. Alright, let's see what we got here. I like this. We'll keep. We got a good amount of card draw. We have an Ill-Gotten Gains. We just need to find one of our hate pieces to shut down their counter magic. Or we need our opponent to mulligan a ton so that they don't have a critical mass of counter spells. The nice part is they're not in green, so they should not have Gaia's Blessing to be able to prevent the mill kill. Alright, well, yeah, opponent mulliganed to 5. We will play our Polluted Delta and pass. We're probably going to play Mental Note. The plan, regardless, is to crack it, get an island. It's just, do we want to opt or do we want a Mental Note? Mountain from the opponent. I think we're actually going to opt here first. Grab an island. Opt to set up our next draw so we get some selection here. Do we want the Lotus Petal? I think we do. So we'll take the Lotus Petal. Orm's Chant. Okay, I like that. We'll play City of Brass. And then we will Mental Note in their end step. Island for the opponent. And we will Mental Note. And we hit a Lion's Eye Diamond. Orm's Chant. Okay, do we have enough mana to do a Hunter Pack is the question. Because we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. Or no, we'd have 5 mana. Orm's Chant. Because, well, Hunting Pack is 7 mana? 7 mana, okay. So if we go play Orm's Chant, we have 1, 2, 4, 7 mana. Use 4 of it for Ill-Gotten Gains, go down to 3. Get back Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Cunning Wish. That's only 4 mana. I think we gotta wait a turn. We will opt. See if we can find a little bit more mana here. We're just a little tight on mana is the problem. Accumulate knowledge from the opponent. Okay. I just don't know what they're gonna have for graveyard hate. So far we are dodging a Tormod's Crypt. So we will opt end of turn. A Swamp. We will take that because we want raw mana. Okay, another Dark Ritual should give us the mana that we need for this. So we've got 3, 5, 6, 7. Go down to 6 to play Orm's Chant. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Go to 2 for Ill-Gotten Gains. Get back Dark Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond. Think this is enough mana? Hold on. Sorry, the math is hard on this one. Okay, so we've got 3, 5, 6, 7. Go down to 6. Go down to 2. Go back up to 5. Get back Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, Cunning Wish. Go up to 7, 10. Okay, this should be enough mana to be able to do it. So we will cast the Lotus Petal. Take some damage off of the City of Brass. Cast Orm's Chant. And if they tap out to counter this, it means they have no counter magic. Okay, so they didn't even counter it, so we're free to go off here. And then we will Cast Ill-Gotten Gains, hold priority, pop this for blue. Then we get back Dark Ritual, Cunning Wish, Lion's Eye Diamond. Opponent had a Mana Leak, Prohibit, and Pyroblast. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Play Dark Ritual. Tap Island. This is 7. Oh, I think we're actually 1 mana over to be able to do this. Because this is 7, this is 10, and this is 7 mana. So we will cast Cunning Wish, hold priority, pop for green, use Cunning Wish's ability, go grab Hunting Pack, and play Hunting Pack. So as long as they don't have some random sweeper here, I think we're good. And opponent gives us the GG on that one, so we picked up game number 2. We didn't really see any... And opponent says they... Okay, so they sideboarded out their Powder Keg, so apparently Powder Keg is something we need to watch out for, but from our opponent, I don't think we saw any... We didn't see anything different, other than maybe they brought in the Pyroblasts? Yeah, okay, so we didn't really see anything different from the opponent here. We could bring in some number of Arcane Denials, but I think the Orim's Chance and the Xantid Swarms are going to serve that purpose. So I think we're just going to run it back. Alright, we got an Orim's Chant. We got a bunch of card selection. We are going to keep this. And we have an Intuition to go find our Ill-Gotten Gains. Opponent went to 6. Fairy Conclave tapped, and a Tormod's Crypt. Okay. City of Brass. We will play our Island and pass. Mountain from the opponent, and passing. And I think we're going to opt here. A second Orim's Chant. I think we are going to keep that just to keep our layers of protection up. And we hit a Xantid Swarm, so I think we're going to go ahead and play that. Start trying to get interaction out. This also points a burn spell at Xantid Swarm. Ooh, are we seeing a counterspell? Yes? No? Maybe? No. Okay, so I'm assuming that means they have a removal spell then. Yes, they do. Okay. But that's a removal spell pointed at Xantid Swarm and not at our face, so I will take that. That is fine. And then end of their turn, we will go ahead and Mental Note Chivalry from the opponent and a pass. And we will Mental Note a Cunning Wish and an Opt, and we got a land. Okay. And we hit another Cunning Wish, so we will play Gemstone Mine. And we will pass the turn. And we are seeing an accumulated knowledge. We could fire off a wish or something here. I don't think we will, though. We'll probably wait until their end step, and then we'll try to do something. A second Tormod's Crypt. Okay. I could try to Intuition for some rituals. And see if that gets a counter out of our opponent's hand at all. We could also Cunning Wish for, like, a mini Brain Freeze and try to hit them that way. We could also Cunning Wish for a Hurkyl's Recall. I think we might do that. See if we can get... Well, no, we'll wait. They've got 2 cards in hand. We hit another Intuition. Okay. So I think we're going to try to see if we can get stuff out of our opponent's hand here. With Intuition. Land from the opponent. And they're passing. So I think we are going to go ahead and Intuition here. Try to get our Cabal Rituals. See if that's enough to get a response from our opponent. Okay, so what could we get here? We could get more Xantid Swarms. But those will go to the graveyard. We can get Cabal Rituals just for pure mana efficiency. We could go grab our Lion's Eye Diamonds. I think we're just going to get the Cabal Rituals here. Alright, and a Dark Ritual. Does this give us enough mana to try to go off is the question. They could be sandbagging a Powder Keg. That's very much a possibility. I think we are going to go ahead and wait a turn. End of turn, we're going to go ahead and Cunning Wish to go grab Hurkyl's Recall. And try to pop off next turn. Unfortunately, we have to get a card out of our hand here. So we are going to play out a Lotus Petal. Just so we don't have to discard. It does decrease our Storm by 1. but that's fine. They didn't have a counter last turn. They keep just hitting lands, and they are passing the turn. We are going to go ahead and Cunning Wish. We're seeing a response here. Mana Leak. So we can Dark Ritual to pay for this? Do I want to... No, I think we're going to let this go. And we're going to try to set up to be able to go off with Hunting Pack and cast an Orm Chant on our opponent's turn. I think is what we're going to try to do here. Okay, we have an Ill-Gotten Gains. I don't think that does anything for us unless they let it resolve first. They have one card. We can do a small Hunting Pack, assuming we go get Lion's Eye Diamonds. Alright, I think we're going to pass the turn. We're going to Intuition on their end step to go grab Lion's Eye Diamond. Ooh, but we need Cunning Wish to do that. We could try to Ill-Gotten Gains. 2 Cunning Wishes are already gone is the problem. I think we'll wait one more turn, see what we can do here. We might just try to force the action on Ill-Gotten Gains. We really need like a Null Rod effect or something is what we need here. I could Ritual out Intuition to go grab... What would I even grab? More Ill-Gotten Gains? We only have 2 Cunning Wishes left. We hit a Lotus Petal. They can still pop stuff. We could cast Ill-Gotten Gains. And then they pop a Tormod's Crypt in response. We could also just try to do a mini Brain Freeze. Like, just try to Brain Freeze our opponent out over a couple of turns. Or do we want to keep going? We're at 47. We would pretty much lose all ability to do anything, and I've only got 5 minutes left. We're going to wait one more turn. I did just realize how low on clock I am. I kind of need another Cunning Wish, and then I can try to go off. We hit an island, play the island. We will pass the turn. I'm kind of just waiting until we hit a Cunning Wish to try to go off with. There might be a line here to do it, but I don't know what it is, because we can't stop them from activating abilities. Like, maybe we just Intuition for some card draw here. This resolves. We can go grab card draw of some sort. We can do Mental Notes, Merchant Scroll, or we can do 3 Merchant Scrolls, actually. This might get us there. Alright, see if we can put this together here. We hit a Dark Ritual. We will go ahead and Merchant Scroll. We are seeing something here. Alright, that gets rid of a counter spell. Maybe we were supposed to Orm's Chant there, but... Alright, opponent's doing something here. Alright, they're transitioning to the beatdown. That's mostly fine. We basically need to find a Cunning Wish. That is an Intuition. We'll pass the turn. I gotta ditch something because I fucked up. I should have played the Lotus Petal. I think we'll just discard a Dark Ritual. Opponent's gonna ice this. Well, in that case, then, let's go ahead and just Intuition now. See what we can find. We'll probably just go grab, like, Mental Notes and shit. We will grab Opt, and Mental Note. And then we will pass the turn. We'll discard one of these Dark Rituals. I got 3 minutes to figure this out. Yep, turn on Fairy Conclave. That's fine. There's a Dark Ritual. We will play out the Lotus Petal. And then pass the turn. What is this? Fact or fiction? Alright, we will do it like this. Alright, they can either have creatures, they can either have the burn spells or lands. I think we've got 1 turn to figure this out. So much graveyard hate in this format. I think I'm starting to come to the realization that every single format is just incredibly hostile towards Storm. And they chose the burn spells. Alright, and then end step, we are going to Mental Note, and hopefully we don't mill over our Cunning Wish. We hit a Brain Freeze. Okay, they're at 36. Can we make this work? I don't think we realistically have a choice here. Cast Orm's Chant. Why is that not working? Make white mana. Oh my god. The client is not wanting to help me out here. Cast Orm's Chant. Alright, opponent's doing something here. They're gonna prohibit. Okay. Then we will pop this for white. Cast an Orm's Chant. I would like them to pop these Tormod's Crypts now. They have another count. Okay, they're gonna bolt. That's fine. And then I guess we just try for the best here. And then I think we are going to go ahead and play the ill-gotten gains prior to the brainstorm, or prior to the brain freeze. They can pop Tormod's Crypt now, or they can let this resolve, which would be a huge mistake. Okay. We're not winning this one anyways, but I gotta at least give it a shot here. We get back Brain Freeze, and we'll mill them for 30. And then we'll just go ahead and Brain Freeze you. Yeah, this was rough. This format is very hostile towards Storm. I understand why I did not know this existed in the format for a very long time. Alright, now let's just see how our opponent kills us. I'm just letting our opponent do it. Show us how you're going to kill us. I didn't even see what they got back, to be completely honest. Turning on a Fairy Conclave. They can turn on 2 of these, attack, and I'm sure they got a burn spell back. Yep, there's the other Fairy Conclave. Where's the burn spell? And there's the burn spell. Incinerate. Good game, opponent. This was a rough one, but we'll address it in the wrap-up. That was rough. I'm not going to lie. It seems like Premodern isn't any friendlier to Storm than Legacy is at the moment. The deck was a ton of fun when it went off and did its thing, but I didn't quite realize just how weak this deck is to Graveyard Hate. I knew it was a Graveyard-centric deck, but the way that everything is worded and timed, a single Tormod's Crypt really is hard for this deck to find a way to navigate around. I also will say trying to mill your opponent out with Brain Freeze is a lot harder than trying to kill your opponent with Tendrils of Agony. I'm not sure if there are other Storm payoffs in the format that could give it a better backup plan, but especially up against a deck that has main deck Gaia's Blessings to be able to shut off the Storm mill kill, this deck really, really struggles. I did a little research. I did see that Tendrils of Agony is banned in Premodern, because that was my first thought as a backup plan, but that's completely out of the question. So if you know of some other Storm payoffs that could act as a secondary win con besides just milling your opponent out with Brain Freeze, let me know in the comments below. But the deck was a ton of fun when it got to do its thing, but compared to some of the other Storm decks I played in other formats, it is nowhere near as consistent, and it is way harder to pop off. The math is just so challenging when you're trying to mill your opponent out with Brain Freeze. I will say, I feel like I probably needed some more anti-artifact hate of some sort, besides just the Chain of Vapors and the Hurkyl's Recall on the sideboard. And maybe it's just my lack of experience in the format and my lack of experience with this deck, but just Tormod's Crypt specifically, just really, really strong against this deck and really, really hard to navigate around. So overall, I can't really recommend this deck just based off of my experience playing it and what you just saw. But if you like Storm and you want to try out Premodern, this is a way to at least get that Storm experience, even if it doesn't seem to be a very well-positioned deck in the meta. But if you want to Storm off, this is one way to do it, and it is a fun way to do it. Just be prepared for a hell of a battle and a whole lot of figuring out math that you're not used to if you're used to Tendrils of Agony and Grape Shot kills versus trying to mill your opponent out with something like a Brain Freeze. But anyways, that is Premodern Storm. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope y'all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.